Hello and welcome back to the LCS playoffs. Team Liquid shocked most people, I would say, with a win in Game 1 here, and a dominant one at that. A full early game composition, and they never let go.
I think that's one of the reasons why we're getting so excited for it, is because it's definitely part of the strategy in Game 1 of a best of 5 to throw down this type of composition, and then to be able to have success and finish out the game, check all of these boxes. It was a very big accomplishment as far as the entire best of 5 goes for Team Liquid. See how Cloud9 respond here, though, because game number 2 is going to be a big turning point now. If they come right back out and C9 now invest in a lot of early skirmishing and they take over, it's going to change the story here. So let's get right into it. Kalista and Thresh off the table straight away. No big surprises here thus far. Bottom lane has been a big focus. I mean, especially for Team Liquid, who have probably had more ups and downs throughout summer. For Tactical to emerge as a really consistent strength for them has been super big. So let's see if they focus a little bit more in this area. The Olaf is definitely going to continue to be a contest point, as obviously Blabber, most successful champion ever on it. But him paired with Xin and Olaf bans, I expect always them both to get banned out, one from each side. They do follow it up here. And then you get, down into the Lee Sin, Viego worlds for the rest of them. And if you want to go AP, splash the Diana.
Yep. Want to see if Renekton is now dropped off the table as well. Clearly, with Fudge going Tahm Kench, the matchup looked fine, but you still had more pressure, you still had more wave control, and so even though he wasn't beset in the one-on-one, it still allowed more things to happen. Tactical gets his one and only Ziggs game in playoffs, and that is now banned away. Did the most damage on his team in the last game. He was instrumental in sitting in the bot lane and being there for the turret kills.
And that single ban denies you that strategy, because if you don't have Ziggs to destroy those towers, you can't afford to run that 4-person melee-heavy composition. No other champion can actually replace that power from Ziggs, so I think it's a very good single ban to deny that one-off strategy that Team Liquid uses their opener from Cloud9. So good adaptation there, and they kind of continue on in a very similar manner here. You get strong bottom lane for Sven in the Varus. You get the Viego, very aggressive jungle once again here for Blabber, and Team Liquid could very well flex this Lee Sin. I was super impressed with Jensen's Lee Sin mainly because I had not been impressed with the Lee Sin from him previously, but that was a very big game.
So cool to see. Obviously a shift for Cloud9 off of the Aphelios and on to Varus for even more early and mid-game pressure.
I've really been wondering when we're going to start to see more priority on the Syndra. With the recent buffs on 11-15, it rose in priority across the world, across leagues, quite significantly. And it really does help out, especially the early laning phase. So we're going to add that extra burst damage. This is much more of a Jensen champion. I don't expect Tactical to be taking Syndra into the bottom lane. Yes, technically you can do it, but this is like the classic for Jensen here.
Yes.
Feels like a really straightforward setup from Team Liquid.
Now, of note, the Varus is a big takeaway from Tactical, who's most played this year is a champion, and it's basically his best winner champion as well. But Sven is 2-6 on Varus across the year. Now, 8 games does not mean this is perfect of, what the future's going to look like, but you're seeing now double AD soul lanes and AD jungler. Cloud9 will eventually find a major perk.
And heavy investment here into poke damage from Cloud9. They already see the first 3 top side of the map from Team Liquid, so they're saying there is not super great hard engage for you. You've got Gangplank slow into Lee Sin big plays and into possible long-range Syndra stuns. But they've got very, very strong lethality poke here, assuming that Sven does go lethality with the Varus. And so you're looking to round it out with some disengage on their parts, and it makes it very important that you win the early game when you're running this, because you want to play off of snowballing. And so Team Liquid, they ban out some AP options that Cloud9 would want to use to round this out. The Rise down, so you wouldn't have your split push opportunity. You wouldn't have that AP from mid either.
Alrighty. Jace likely to be in the top lane, by the way. As far as I can tell, Jace Syndra is not a good Jace matchup. But of course, Gangplank's top, so you just hold that one the whole time and say, that's our matchup, no problem. We'll pick mid later. There's a Rise ban. We'll see what comes after. Maybe a Cassiopeia or, some other magic damage out of that lane. No matter what, Cloud9's going to have options there, of course. as Tristana also dropped off the table. No Nautilus, so Leona seems pretty likely unless you grab it yourself right here.
So they go with some super generic AP bans from mid lane for Team Liquid here. Yeah. I really do like they have to balance with a little bit of AP to make sure that it's not, you know, steel caps across the board and your lethality poke gets significantly hurt. But I'm also just really theoretically liking the style of heavy poke with a Viego. You know, you hit 2 skill shots, somebody's low enough for Viego to all in and go for the reset, picking up souls. Diana's still available, so that's where they're going to get their AP from. It remains to be seen if it's a mid lane Diana. It's a possibility into Syndra.
Yeah. Diana mid is very good, actually. I think it's really
a possibility into Syndra. So you can still keep the Viego in jungle if you want due to the recent nerfs to the passive on minions and actually rotate the Diana over there.
I wouldn't mind that. I think it would look really good, but it would be, I would say, atypical. Like I would expect,
it definitely would, but I kind of
like it.
I like the theory.
All right, and interestingly, they let Leona be picked up. I thought that was going to be so highly prized that Cloud9 would take it, so I'm curious if they have a counter pick they wanted to see into Leona, if they wanted to see the entire bot lane before support comes through, but obviously TL really wanted it last time. Thumbs up from Core JJ. All right, the Jhin is in. We've got the Force energy going on, and all right, maybe just play the Alistar. It is a little bit more engaged. They are a bit limited in that regard. And if you are going to go hard poke, then Alistar can be the disengage instead. You pick out the Lee Sin or something.
Exactly. And that's the main point to me. Whenever I'm looking at this comp, you know, there is Gangplank ultimate and Leona ultimate, but Lee Sin is the big death sentence. If Lee Sin gets a good ward hop or a flank or something like that, you know, that can crack some of the long range, you know, poke you're trying to get off. And so there's a lot of pressure on keeping him out. Vulcan has been one of the very best Alistars that we have. See if he can be the linchpin here for Cloud9. Currently, they've got perks on the Viego. You can wait and trade until 20 seconds are left on the clock for our little window that we're leaving over for the surprise flex.
That's true. Although it really, as much as I want to agree with you, Kobe,
it's draining away. Our time is running out, freak.
It's not happening. We're seeing Diana jungle, which is obviously just fine. Viego mid is, I would say, much better than Viego top as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, could have liked to see it.
I'm curious to see now, though, if he does have sustained problems. Because of the buffs to Syndra, it's actually much easier to harass. And we'll see if those sustained issues do affect this Viego lane for perks early on. Probably going to lose you know, minion control. As far as most of the mid laners I interviewed about it, yeah, they were having a hard time, especially in matchups like this where you do need to rely on trading health for minions early on and wave control. So Cloud9 now on a very different look as far as what they're facing for this early game, and I do expect Lee Sin to have definitely a lot of early options here. Santorin was very good on the Sejuani. In the previous comp, you do not want your jungler sitting and farming. You need to get out there. You need to create those plays. And even though he had the one, you know, excessive tower dive there that led to the death, still was able to create so much with the Sejuani. See how he can do with the Lee.
So here we go. Into this one, the teams seem focused much more heavily on the early game. Team Liquid took control in game 1 and never let go and crushed it in under 30 minutes. So Cloud9 have grabbed themselves a Varus. They've gone for the Jace kind of pick top lane to try to make sure they can win late against the Gangplank. They want the priority. Perks in his second professional Viego game of all time, 0-1 on the champion. And we'll see if he's going to look better now against Jensen's Syndra.
Okay, nice defensive opening from both sides. Looks like maybe a late invade from a rotation down from top for Cloud9. Curious to see. I think the only big question mark for me.
Walked with the brush, but Cortej's happy just to walk in and land the stun. They're going to collapse now, but it will be a 3-on-3, so it shouldn't be any lethal damage. And they get to put the ward, and the ward is killed just barely. Sven got his auto off.
And he's got zombie ward, so you get to protect your zombie ward. Extra vision on first scuttle is actually quite big here for C9. A lot of extra information for Cloud9 off this level 1, in addition to the ward kill. Definitely beneficial here. The biggest question mark to me is going to be how this Viego sustains versus the Syndra in mid lane with the 2 changes to these champions on 11.5. So curious to see how Perks is able to play it out. Because if he's able to play it out just fine, and you know they had the confidence to swap it over and still pick the Diana for Blabber for the AP threat, if this lane goes fine, I think Cloud9 strike back very quickly in this series.
Yeah, absolutely the case. I just want to see if you can win the backside to the matchup. I mean, yeah, it's not the same champions, but you know, Jensen just kind of clobbered the melee AD versus mage matchup, and now you reverse the roles, and you want to see if Perkz can kind of step up, because across this split, you know, it really hasn't been him, and Jensen's been getting the better of him as a individual player. Otherwise, though, we'll see what happens. Of course, turn into the Bud Light League Lounge after the LCS today, twitch.tv/Bud Light. Triple and Revenge going to be joining Latigris and Dash for some fun games, and Buffalo Wild Wings galore. Check that one out after this 3 to 5 game series.
You can ask Revenge how much help he would be if you were stranded in an ocean on a raft.
I'll make sure Dash asks.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
I wonder how confident he'll be in his medical expertise out there in the ocean. Meanwhile, though, back to this one. Perkz seems to be doing just fine. There is a big minion wave that Jensen's been able to slow build here, but you know, using the mist very effectively, try and cut it down right before it gets to your tower. Jensen effortlessly can push it in. You can see the mana bar right there for the Syndra. So much nicer on 11.5 after the changes. It actually even gives him the freedom to go for the invade on Blabber and try and look for this Diana.
Early ward down. They see Santorin's trying to invade towards this one because they want to go for the 3-man top side, but Blabber has already passed this area. Santorin getting some decent damage, and in fact, this should just be the kill. The jungler instead forced to flash, still stunned. Alfari lands the Q, walks right back out. But here comes the TP, here comes the re-engage. Is it enough now? Gonna channel for the stun, gonna find a bit, but Jensen tanks the stun, meaning that it's not gonna be a kill. And now Fudge is doing his best to take waves under his turret. This is going very Team Liquid favored. Blabber dives in. The best he can do is some damage. Knocked down, though, by Santorin. And how about what's next? Stun's going to land. You can't chase this one. You will die if you go for the Q. But big damage on Perkz. And now Core JJ is here first. Alistair's in bot lane. Core JJ is in top lane. They can't get the dive, though the minion wave is back up. And Tio get the 1-for-0 and back out.
And they've got to reset quickly to try and get Core JJ back down to bottom side. Vulcan and Sven are level 3 each. Possible dive here to try and push him off.
It's Aftershock Alistair. He can take this for a long time. He can take the first few shots. Tactical flashes. He's going to be shot. He's going to die. They will trade Vulcan back, and they might get more because double TP means Sven is likely to be slowed and then stunned. He flashes. He's got Blabber nearby. Can they win the 2-on-2? It's enough to get away.
Critical there. Sven holds his flash, and you saw where Jensen threw the W on Syndra, trying to overlap the position plus where he thought he was going to flash to land that slow that you're talking about. He critically saves his flash, the W lands in front, and then he flashes up to the side over that short part of the wall. So well done by Sven to escape with his life, doesn't get slowed, doesn't get chased down there, still ends up being a 1-for-1, but both teleports were used in order to answer it, and we come out of it with an 800 gold lead for Team Liquid.
And we come out with interestingly scuffed lanes because Alfari, of course, TPing in a bot lane, might as well stay there, so send tactical top. Like, don't make Alfari TP, then recall, then walk top and lose a wave. Just get the farm, push the waves, reset afterwards.
It's just not efficient.
Yeah, it's the right play here.
Can't be walking across. Here's another look at it, though. Again, this Syndra roaming up from mid early because of the push onto Viego allows Santorin to go so aggressively onto Blabber. And then when the teleport finally does come in from the Viego to even up the numbers, they still have the health bars to fight it. So Perkz goes in. Yes, he gets his stun, but it's just about fishing for these skill shots. Q goes wide here first for Santorin, but you know, Jensen with full HP has the confidence to move up. Blabber tries to burst Santorin down, can't quite get that kill, and it ends up being very favorable for Team Liquid. This was the only question mark we still had because we're like, okay, they got to reset quickly. Core JJ actually showed for no result on top side and ends up costing the AD carry the dive on bottom with the extra minions dying to the tower.
So the game is pretty well TL favored. FGX gold advantage 1200 right now. Again, Tactical probably wants to get out of this lane. As now Vulcan is going to lane with Fudge top lane, so we're just, hey, we got Varus versus Gangplank. If Fudge couldn't win lane, Zed, it's your turn.
You got to remain flexible, Freak. You know, junglers have to be willing to go pick up waves when people are rotating around and teleports are going down. Top laners can stay down on the bottom side of the map, and you see the coordination is that now you have to hard push it so you can get that opening. Whichever team hard pushes first gets such a big advantage. Alfari's trying to do it right now on the Gangplank versus the Varus, as everybody's now rotating in behind on bottom side, because big question here, on the top side, how many minions exactly does Fudge have up there? He's keeping it frozen, so he's slowly denying resources. If Team Liquid don't get anything out of overloading this bottom side, then it is going to be marginal advantages gained back to Cloud9.
He sees Santorin. Core and Tactical are on the wave right now, but now that Sven has reinforcements, should be okay. Got some okay damage onto Alfari. The recalls come through, and they don't go for a dive. No GP on tower dive as reinforcements have arrived, and we still have a fairly flat game right now, as everyone has finally come across the map. Just waiting for Fudge. Fudge is in top lane, waiting for Alfari to join him. He had recalled recently, has the Sheen. That's why he's going to look good.
Yeah, the timing here and the communication you can see from Cloud9 was on point. As soon as they have Alfari out of vision, he switches from holding the wave there, slowly denying minions, to pushing as quickly as he can. Now, it works out well for Alfari because he arrives. It's a cannon minion, so the cannon minion survives. He actually doesn't lose out any minions to the tower. It's just the ones he lost in lane while Fudge was keeping it there in the middle.
Last things with the minions, and gonna be all right. 55 to 49 in CS. Tyrannus rated Dirk. Decent damage there, but fighting Sheen, of course, can be pretty tough as we look back into the bottom lane. Level 6 for Sven. No cleanse on the TL side. No flash for Tactical either right now. So if you land the ulti, that is a full combo that probably results in a death. But you can see Vulcan is headed top side instead.
Yeah, meanwhile, Santorin over some vision here means that he's walking into dangerous territory. When you have support roam timers and you don't have your support, look at how far away Core JJ is.
Yep.
You have to be very cautious about moving in there. Alistar, Vulcan does not hesitate on those plays, so would snap, go for the initiation. This one is going to be both AD carries staying bottom side, so Scuttle Crab for sure picked up. Looks like Rift Herald is going to be taken down as well. Blabber has hit to level 6, but the focus and the early move from Team Liquid is going to gain them the extra objective. And this is just going to balloon that gold lead for them. Another early game success story for Team Liquid.
Looking really good. Blabber spotted in the brush that's already warded, so they're not going to get anything out of top lane here either. Perkz wants to be in battle with Jensen, but gets this wave pushed in, but you can see Jensen's got more farm. He obviously had that top lane roam that worked better, the bot lane TP that worked better. It's 2 games in a row. The Team Liquid mid laner has just done more, and it's well done TL.
Meanwhile, the first PowerPoint that Cloud9 fans have to look forward to is the double Muramana, this lethality poke that they have drafted super early on of the Jason Varus, and bringing that together for your sieges or for your objectives to try and poke members of Team Liquid off. The biggest PowerPoint and the point of this composition, once you get these two online, you see the early investments in lethality as well as the tier for your Muramana builds. Is going to come when you can actually utilize those through the mid game. So until then, yes, you can make spot plays off of, Diana ult combinations, Alistar engages here and there, and the execution possibilities from Viego. But mostly it's about controlling this early gold lead that Team Liquid have, trying to stem the bleeding a bit and not give away too many objectives in the meantime. Then when you get to group up and use your poke, you're trying to just avoid those 2 ultimates of the Gangplank Leona combination, allowing the super hard engage from Team Liquid.
So Dragon maybe on the table. 10 minutes in. Right now, not the early target. Waiting for the Rift Herald to be charged into one of these lanes. Top lane down to 4 plates. Mid and bot really not under any fire yet. But if you do want to get first turret gold, it may be in that top lane. But first, Cloud9 are on the way to this Dragon, as it turns out. Mid laner is going to be seeing each other. Top lane is going to see each other in a second. Santorin not going to be anywhere near this bottom river. It's going to be claimed, no problem. Well done, Cloud9, to get an objective on the board. But again, these Drakes don't mean much if you don't get soul.
Exactly. Similar story to last time around, where I think the correct focus in early game is always how Team Liquid are doing it here, getting the extra gold, getting the Rift Herald. Bigger early advantage for them as a possibility. Santorin is holding that Rift, or actually just used it on top side, so he's immediately cashing in for the first turret bonus, and this is going to be a very similar story. Poof goes the turret, and boom goes the gold lead.
2.4K. It's looking good. Team Liquid have done a good job again and again and again of having the skill and the matchup knowledge to win their lanes, turn that into aggression around those lanes, turn that power into objectives, and they get first turret time and again.
Yeah, and our one question mark of the Syndra into Viego was the big, spark plug for the top lane dive. It was the early roam from Jensen, pushed out the wave, Perkz had to finish up with the rest of the wave in his tower, then use his teleport up topside, and gave them the early move on all these consecutive plays. Now they've got the rotation down from Alphari after taking top turret, so it just continues to cascade gold across the map for Team Liquid. He pushes in again, playing off another power point here, and the Syndra continues to be so valuable for them.
Core plays just, I believe, outside of vision now as the minions show up. He will be spotted, but said, hey, if you fight for this one, if you let us stun, I'm just going to, flash Leona you, and you're dying for that one. Perkz not going to get hit low enough to die, but mid lane turret now below half HP. As Blabber walks in to grab the wave to, not let the golden XP go to waste. But TL, 2,900 the FTX gold advantage. They're just running over this one again.
Money, 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 freak. Keep it coming. They've been able to push in bottom as well. Look at this invade attempt from Santorin and CoreJJ. When do they actually pull the trigger here? Vulcan does go over the wall, and Blabber's got ult.
They got some decent damage, but now that he is 6, of course, Vulcan, oh my word, the health bar's just gone. What a setup burst that they will trade one back. No, they will not. It's just all the damage out of Santorin. Coming alive in this one, walks away cleanly.
Team Liquid continue to stomp this early game. And freak, the poke damage is nowhere in sight.
No.
It's getting such an early power curve here for Team Liquid that this moment we're talking about for C9 fans to look forward to, you can't even see on the horizon yet.
It's just huge right now. This is just getting walked over, but okay, CoreJJ thought maybe had to flash. Did not actually have to, but honestly, they're not getting punished enough for it to matter. So CoreJJ just gets out. The lead grows to 4,500, and Team Liquid pick up exactly where they left off.
All right, so this is a symptom of getting frustrated at all of the early invades from Team Liquid. Beautiful stun over the wall from Jensen. The Syndra is still on point from him. Easily able to create this double kill for Santorin. Feels so nice. Beautiful stun over the wall into easy Lee Sin Q follow-up damage there. Gore Drinker's done for Santorin off of all these early kills. He's even tanky with the steel caps on top of it. Already prepared for the possible lethality poke. Yeah, the eclipses are coming in now, but the steel caps are already built by 3 members of Team Liquid.
This is looking really good for Team Liquid yet again. I mean, really, 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 really well done. Maybe Dash is the one who called it. He said TL's going to win this one. We'll give him credit as the best analyst on the staff that I have heard talk about this match. Maybe it's him after all.
Alphari also, he tweeted out he was just giving Cloud9 members a false sense of confidence with the success that C9 have had against them. C9 beat them literally every game in summer, plus the 2 series in spring playoffs. So Team Liquid have had enough, it seems, freak.
Apparently they have. Good to see Santorin back in the lineup. Alphari, obviously, with his lane dominance, has looked really good here as well. So, credit where it's due. This is TL playing off of their strengths, right? Off of their absolute lane dominance. CoreJJ is on the hard roam. They're not playing around bot lane. But Tactical's good at chilling, right? Hanging out, waiting, and then being there for the team fights. Like, this whole mix is working well to their player strengths.
Yeah, and some of the big things have been a lot of these points off of Santorin invades where it is him coordinating with stuff like Jensen is pushing, level 3 Syndra gets Viego under tower, they move together, they try and create these opportunities. No longer is it a wait for your opponents or wait for the perfect scenario. This is a creative Team Liquid that are actually being proactive. Meanwhile, though, Cloud9 will strike back, objective for themselves, so they've got their first dragon, they've got Rift Herald number 2 in their pockets. It's just that once again, they have to overcome this mountain of a gold lead.
They gotta find a way to do it, but the poke may just not be enough. With the double eclipse in, we'll see what they look at. First dragon was Cloud9, second dragon looks to be theirs as well, but as we saw in game 1, they got 2. All right, that brings the gold lead back in terms of it being worth some stats. It's, of some value. But guess what? TL, for the first 15 minutes, 60 minutes, they're like, you can take those. We'll get gold leads elsewhere. And then now we own the map, and Soul's not happening.
Yeah, and look at this gold graph as well is very telling. But I'm still looking at this point when if you can get your conversions for your Muramata. Because then the poke damage starts hurting so heavily that yes, however big of a gold lead there is, there are not super tanky champions on the opponent team. So if you land your skill shots and you can focus fire as well, those opportunities can still be there. And Team Liquid are going to have to have their flanks warded. They're going to have to look for these hard engages. It's not too difficult with a slow field from Gangplank ultimate and then Core JJ's ultimate here from Leona, trying to set up stuff like the follow through from Syndra and Jhin. Like the possibilities are definitely there, and they just have to execute on them. But you know, the opening will be on the 2-item power spike for Cloud9. Can they actually change the course of this series or not?
Well, the good thing for Cloud9 is they don't have much to lose for a while. There's no Dragon up, there's no Baron for 3 minutes. All the outer turrets are already gone, so they get to wait and stack those tiers. And of course, you know, Fudge needs to deal spell damage to actually stack the tier any faster. Obviously, you know, for the most part, waiting for gold. And in fact, Sven is sidestepping to some percent armor pen, most likely Cyrilda's, in the fact that, you know, Mormon is nice, but he needs to get through all the armor that these guys are buying, since, as you mentioned, there are triple steel caps, right? And those are all the melee champions with a bunch of bonus armor. It's hard to kill them. So we'll see. 2.5 now on Baron, and I don't know if it's going to be right away the TL setup, but we saw them play that dance, and it took them about 3 minutes to claim the objective when they did.
It's also going to be difficult for Cloud9 if they give up vision control first to Team Liquid, because when you're face checking into the Gangplank's Syndra options, then you're just lining up for skill shots to land. Barrel chains from Alphari are part of the reason Gangplank is his signature champion. And then Jensen, we already saw right off the bat, over the wall even, long-range Syndra stun found too. So he's also calibrated his skill shots, Freak. And if Team Liquid get the early setup on these objectives, it just makes it so difficult for C9 to really pull off that surprise play. Are they going to be the ones with the threatening long range, or is it actually we have to play the dangerous game of walking into Team Liquid's setup? Because currently, Team Liquid have taken control of your entire jungle.
Yeah.
Blabber's got to have used his proto belt to escape from his own raptors.
Hey, at least he got the big one, though, all right? He landed the Q-Stack. That was well done. I want to point out, Perks at 18-18 finally finished his Mythic. Woo! That is incredibly slow. The man has the least farm of anyone. He's barely got more than his jungler. It has been a rough road for Perks in mid.
I'm telling you, that's why we are questioning in Champ Select, you know, with 11-15 Syndra boost, Viego nerf. Definitely seems the mana costs of the sustain wars have a cascading effect, and it's props to Team Liquid for using them.
Yeah. It also means Cloud9 need to find a real mid laner, because Perks has not been up to the task.
Here's how you do it, Freak. I got you right here.
What is it?
You snipe the Syndra, and then you take the body.
Okay. Then Perks can be on a good champion again. Maybe get him on Jhin. He used to be a bot laner. His most played this year has been Lucian. You can still play Marksman in that one. You know, no Uxin for the rest of the year. Too bad, but...
where's she going?
She was slowly walking towards top lane, and it just did not matter. So good job. You got a Herald. You earned 100. They earned 25. You didn't get much more out of that one. Whatever. But yeah, I mean, realistically, this is the defending champions against the 5th seed, and Cloud9 have so far looked
Yeah,
hopeless.
I mean, it's also both teams from that finals.
I listen, all right? I didn't technically lie. There were lies of omission. That is true. TL has leveled up incredibly well, and I want to give them full credit because this is the best I have seen TL play in 6 months.
I like that your main concern is technically lying in all cases. You're a very Machiavellian type of fellow. I respect it though, because I know this about you, and it makes navigating this scenario an expected result.
Fair enough. But, you know, the other side of it, TL playing incredibly well. Cloud9, I want to see, and it's not just like the buyout memes, whatever. Perks, when he joined Cloud9, said, I'm going to get you, what, like 7 trophies in 2 years? You got 1. I want to see you be worthy of a podium, at least at this point. And it's not there for him right now. He's been mid-diff both games. He's 0-0-0 now. I want to see more of the man.
All right, well, in the meantime, fighting uphill battle for C9. They've decided to leave him on the top side. You want to trade equally when you are behind like this. 7,000 or 6,000 gold deficit here does mean if you can get that tower, recall back out, and defend the secondary ones here, that is technically a W for Cloud9. But it does mean easy dragon here for Team Liquid. This is why you invest in the early power of the first Rift Child, of the early gold turret plates. It makes even fighting the mid-game dragons so easy, even if you've given up the first two to your opponents. So Santorin's going to happily cut that one off. Objective in the bank for them.
Ultimate haste is in, not a bad one. Jhin and Gangplank can somewhat mediocrely start fights from far away. Just put the slows down and then allow Leona to follow up and just bash him with your gold lead.
All right, step number 1 for Cloud9. You need to get your Pocket of Fog of War on the objective first. We just can't emphasize enough. Objective setup here for C9. If they're forced to walk into Team Liquid, it is going to be doomed. They need to have Blabber and Vulcan frontlining here, ready to snap, pull the trigger on anyone who gets hit with this lethality poke. Fudge and Sven are approaching the area here, already transformed, or looking for his transform for Muramana. Very close for Fudge, a little bit further behind because of the stop off for the last whisper here for Sven, but that is still the hope.
All right, camp's going down. Santorin still keeping his farm pretty much identical to Blabber. 0-2 and 0 on the Diana, on the way to Azonia's. Cool has a stopwatch. We'll just see if they have the damage to follow up on the fights. Looks like Perks and Vulcan on the way towards top. Can they catch out Alphari? Sidesteps the stun. Barrel, no. He tried to predict the auto attack, but there wasn't one to be had. Gets a slow. Gonna have the first stun. Gonna have the second one as well. Headbutt into the wall. Big burst of damage and a flash. Gets away from Diana. And now reinforcements have arrived. So well played by Alphari. And the reinforcements start knocking down Cloud9 2-0.
Yeah, just watching the mini-map the entire time here. Nice sidestep on that stun, but it still means Baron, massive pressure here for Team Liquid. Big kiting. All Alphari has to do, he very cautiously uses every cooldown there. Easy sidestep, then he flashes as well. Gangplank emerges unharmed, and Baron is an afterthought for Team Liquid.
Well done. Huge pickup there. Okay, that's fine. No one's going to steal it. Massive lead now. Red Bull Baron power play is going to be probably an inhibitor or two.
You know, in a lull of the game like this, everybody has all cooldown. So when you go for a play like this, you're expecting a teleport from the Syndra. And it's just a matter of time. If you can't immediately burst down or threaten this Gangplank, then it is going to turn so bad so quickly. So Honda Performance Replay here does show it once again. You already know the ramifications of the dive, though, because there's so much range in the collapse. Lee Sin can dash forward, able to save him, kick into the wall, plus then the range support of Tactical on Jhin, allowing them to chase down another opponent with the Baron Freak. This one's all but wrapped up with a bow.
Vulcan is down 7-1. I want to point out that the Alphari-Vulcan interaction back when he was getting dove in top lane, Vulcan let his E stack up and then went pulverized, trying to like bait out oranges on what should have been like the E slap, and he's like, no, I was ready for that one. 8 oranges appropriately on the stun. Like, I don't know how you get that one in your mind, but really well done there. Sorry, Alphari does not take enough damage. Fudge flashes because he might have gotten punched one too many times. Blabber going for the desperation play, gets the pullback, and Core JJ flashes out of the damage. Alphari is low, but they just cannot get the kills. The snipe comes through for Jhin. One already picked up, make it a second. Yes, indeed, a double kill for Jensen, and Cloud9 just cannot get anything done.
Freak. This series is a stomp.
Yes.
From Team Liquid's side, everyone favoring Cloud9 because, rightfully so, in summer, defeating them all 3 times, in spring, both of the series, and yet Team Liquid, early plays successful in both games for them. Seamless transition, especially this time around, and all the plays Cloud9 try and get off the ground have felt sluggish.
Well, Team Liquid, whatever you did over the last week, it worked beautifully because you played Cloud9 7 days ago when they beat you. You play them today and it's not close. Goodbye, Sven forces a flash away from a Syndra combo. Vulcan gonna drop now to Santorin, and it's 4-0-5. They're still going for more. 10-1 in kills, a slow one to Blabber. That man's dead as well. Let's grab another one, no problem. Jensen's unstoppable as the inhibitor will fall in mid.
The confidence for Team Liquid is through the roof. Look at these plays inside the base. Baron buff means they're going to make short work of it.
And that is going to be, yes, another turret falling. Indeed it is. A couple of inhibitors for the power play. And you know what? Maybe it's time to reset. Buff is timing out. Jungler respawns soon. There's no minion waves left. Okay, we'll go grab our Cloud Drake afterwards. And I mean, at this point, you have just done everything you need to do. The first game was one-sided. This one's going even faster.
Santorin, it just seems on fire. Playoff Jensen has came to play. Even in their loss previously to Cloud9 too, his Azir was doing quite a bit of work. So he has definitely been in peak performance. Take a look at the attempted flank here from Cloud9. Yes, this is one of the few ways that they actually have to throw, an option to come back into the game, but really well dealt with by Team Liquid. Jensen, he's able to get first kill up there just off his ultimate, then collapses to be able to finish up the second kill off of stun there onto Perks. They get every member out alive, so every member still with Baron buff Freak means they can chase people down inside the base. The towers melt, the inhibitors are gone, and they get the reset with pockets full of gold.
Yeah, they are. They are rich, and they are looking to keep going onto this one here. Looking at top tier 2, the only lane left to push. And I've noticed, actually, for a while, TL, in the previous game as well, are happy to leave the Dragons up. It is not even part of the calculation. They do not care about that objective. It's been up for 2 minutes. Nah, the base is what's dying.
This is such a scary situation for Cloud9 too, because while this is the upper bracket for this series, going down 0-2 to Team Liquid in your upper bracket series, being sent down to the lower bracket, if they lose one more game this series, they're going to have such a hard time fighting their way out. One of C9, TL, or TSM cannot make Worlds, and the lower bracket is a very scary place to earn your keep.
So, all inhibitors down. Supers flooding in now through mid and bottom lane. It's time to end the game. Jhin ult to zone them, bit of damage on his Ven as well, and well, guess what? Now we have the positioning. Final couple of shots come across. Blabber going to be dropped quite low. Stunned as well. GP over the top. Doing their best to wave, but one Nexus turret is down. Blabber sent back to the fountain. Here comes the combo in for Alistar, but there's just not going to be enough damage. Dies through his ultimate. Vulcan can't get anything. That man does not live long. That man does not prosper, and neither will their base. 3 for nothing. Stopwatch stops all the Diana damage, and the next Nexus falls 1 minute faster than the last one. Team Liquid getting better and better in this series, putting Cloud9 into the dirt.
You know what they say, Freak? When you can't play poke from ahead, you can't play poke. And Team Liquid, they take the early lead. Very good early roams from them. Jensen and Santorin linking up, and the synergy between those two has been on display.
Yep.
Game number 2, quickly picked up by TL.
In game 1, they had Jensen just ahead in the 1v1. He showed up around level 4. They got the kill there. They showed up afterwards. It kept going. In game 2, it was the gangplank blinded. Fudge comes in with the Jace. Nah, don't care. We fetch with our turret at level 3. Oh, we dove you again, and it worked time and again. So really well done, Team Liquid. The early games have been on point. Big ups to the solos in the jungle especially, but the whole team is playing well. Now it is time for a step away. But when we return this day from Analyst Desk, we'll break down that second TL win.
Can't believe that Daniel deal you got me on my insurance.
Daniel, State Farm offers surprisingly great rates to everyone.
Sure you do. You want to meet the queen?
I'm not dressed for that. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
They've got to get the Mountain Drake here if they want to have any chance of being able to salvage this game, but no! It's stolen away at the last moment with a beautiful smite to end this game. GG, well played!
Yeah. I would never let you go. I love you, girl. Don't should I trust you? Put no one above you. Tell me that I miss you. Just tell me you're over.
Gasper, what the hell you doing?
I would never let you go. I love you, girl. Don't should I trust you? Put no one above you. Tell me that I miss you. Just tell me how I felt to you. You love me, baby girl, you're stupid. All that I had nothing to lose, now I'm losing. I'm falling through the crowd, you are my best friend. I get pretty bitter, this on crack ass. Halloween, girl, like I'm falling. I just wanna talk to you, but you text me, say you love it. Wait for a minute, you said that in Spanish. You get my number if you ever tryna kick it. We can get a problem, but like I can't really dance back. I can't really dance straight. fuck all your friends too. And I'm not being rude, but I wish I never met you. Oh, fuck that, I'm bugging. I think that I might love you. And every time I get myself a problem, you are right. I never let you go. I love you, girl. Don't should I trust you? Put no one above you. Tell me that I miss you. Just tell me how I fucked you over. Tell me that I miss you. Just tell me how I fucked you over. Tell me that I miss you. Just tell me that I fucked you over.
Welcome back, everybody, for some State Farm Neighborhood Tactics. Now, it's already a dominant 2-0 series here for Team Liquid. That was a clean game, but it wasn't just all amazing plays from Team Liquid. Sometimes mistakes were made, but it was the return that came from Team Liquid. It was basically them being able to find quick ways to kind of put themselves back on an even footing. So in this case, they went for a top lane dive. It came out successfully, got the kill on the Blabber. But here, a return play from Sven and Vulcan comes through. Double TP here from Team Liquid. And so the advantage that Alphari was able to get actually kind of stymied because Jace is able to push in the top side wave. It was only a 1-for-1 because Blabber is able to cover Sven here. So now Alphari's put in a bit of a difficult position here. So he ends up picking up the bot lane wave. As you can see, Jhin goes up top, so they don't end up losing too much resources off of it, but you're in a bit difficult position. So here comes Leona going up to the top lane wave. So the idea behind it is Jhin is able to fully push this one out. He's not going to be in danger of the top lane being frozen. GP is obviously going to be put in a bad position. So the idea is, okay, fully push out the top lane wave. You can already see it in the mini-map. Base is coming through from all three members. They're going to go straight down bot lane to then bust Alphari out of this position. And ultimately, the fear is that, you're losing too many waves just because of that first mistake. So finally, they come in here. They see Sven is a bit low, so they do want to threaten a dive. It doesn't ultimately turn into that because Blabber and Vulcan are here for the defense. But the main takeaway is, okay, this didn't pan out. GP is going to base. He's going to go topside. He does still miss a wave, but that was because of the setup for the dive. So in the end, you take stock from this, and you're like, we got a successful dive topside. Even though we were a little bit too hamish on the bottom side plate to protect Jhin, we're still able to recover a lot of it, so we don't miss too many resources, and then the rest of the game speaks for itself. Right now, it's 2-0 in the series. Cloud9 needs to find a way back into this one. So let's look at the desk and see what you guys have for us.
Oh, I like it. You're going to give us the hard job. Figure out how Cloud9 comes back in the series when they're down 2-0. All right. Well, thank you very much, Raz, for that breakdown of the macro plays by Team Liquid. It's very, very cool to see how some kind of quick thinking, on your feet thinking by a team can turn what maybe looks like an overinvestment in one area into an actual boon for the squad. But as Raz said, it is all roses for the TL squad right now as they sit and pretty 1 point away from wrapping up the series. And so really, Mark, what I want to do is kind of understand the tough position that Cloud9 is in, this isn't just about losing this series, it's about how that sets you up for the rest of playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, they have zero momentum right now, staring down the barrel of a sweep, and that will knock you into the lower bracket really early on. And it's been talked about before, but there is only one of these three teams between C9, Team Liquid, and TSM. One of them is gonna miss out no matter what, just because of how the bracket happens. And so if C9 loses here, they go into the losers bracket. They have to make an insane run to actually get back in, including a best-of-5 win over one of those teams that's gonna be in semifinals at least once. So it's a very tough road for them if they end up losing here, and that's why I'm panicking for C9, because like I said, zero momentum in the series right now. They have been slammed both games.
All right, so we've hit the panic button.
I'm panicked.
Okay, so you come in. You're the one who's gonna help us through the panic.
God.
Cloud9 needs to string
doomed.
3 together. No! No, that's not the mindset I want to hear.
Helping them.
All right, blue side, no subs. How do they start putting them together?
So I think, you know, previously when we talked about, I was like, oh, they're going on red side. That'll be cool. They'll go for like straight up counter picks. In a way they did, but then they ended up with this double AD poke composition where they were in the position that they were going to flex the Viego to a lane and end up picking the Diana because they needed AP. I think a composition like this, first of all, I think they've just been outdrafted by what TL have had, but then execution-wise, TL has been able to completely take over and play from a lead and close out. And I think when I talk about volatility, it's in lane matchups, it's in making the most of your mechanics, it's in getting Blabber involved early, and I want to see that. Like, I want to see stuff with a lot of agency. I would even like to see something that sets up for picks, not unlike the composition that TL picked in this last game. I wouldn't necessarily give that to C9 either, but I do want to see them playing to their strengths and how they can push a lot of these lane matchups, make them volatile, and get Blabber involved.
I feel like they have to get off the Viego pick. It looks like trash right now for them. It doesn't look good in the middle or jungle, and that's something that they need to figure out because Santorin is running them over in the early game.
I want no Thresh ban, no jungle bans. Take first pick Thresh and then trade junglers. That's what I want to see out of Cloud9 to bring it back.
I was going to say then the issue is they're obviously setting up for Blabber, right? So all I've said about Blabber being a really important part, they are kind of almost over-indexing on him if you look at their bans. So they really need to find a pick that he's comfortable with and get him involved early.
Yeah, maybe you're protecting him too much. Hey, only time will tell while our pros are getting ready to head back onto stage 1 final time, or maybe not, maybe a couple more times. We'll see if Cloud9 has to say about that. Freak had the honor of checking out some Leona tech in this week's Roccat Rate My Play. Check it out.
Welcome back to Rate My Play, presented by Roccat. I am Freak, and as a connoisseur of peak League of Legends, I'm prepared to rate today's play from Twitter user X featuring Leona. Let's get into it. All right, sieging mid, not playing too aggressively, which is good because you're still waiting for your team to come around. And, oh, that is the worst flash I've ever seen in my life. I'm glad you're not the Malzahar because that was a terrible, terrible int. So now where actually are you? Okay, in the front line. Hey, you got yourself a stun. That's good. You're hitting the front line. Everyone else is dying. That's beautiful stuff. Okay, I'm trying to find you again. All right, you stunned a Kayn. Look, so far, you hit a Locket. I mean, I'm glad your opponent's inted into you. It's beautiful. All right, the Bard. Hey, you know what? So far, listen, solid stuff. No complaints. We got a Rift Herald summon. You're tanking the turret. No, what are you doing? Well, that was a choice. I have to give that a rating. 50 DKP minus. I think that your guild would be really sad about your rating. That's what we're going with. Oh, sorry, Rocket will be sending you some shiny new peripherals. I hope they help. You might need glasses? I don't know. If you're watching this and would like your own shot at a roast and some Roccat gear, send me your plays to rate. I bet you won't because you're a coward. But if you do, then tag me or Roccat on Twitter so we can see what crimes you accomplish in solo queue.
Lion! Ah, yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a Red Bull.
Red Bull? Still, you'll never be faster than a lion.
I don't have to be quicker than the lion, just faster than you.
Red Bull gives you wings.